Let's jump right into this explainer on emotional health support by Professor Dr. Ahmad Seton. Now, Dr. Seton brings an absolutely fascinating perspective to this topic, really drawing on his deep background as a professor of pediatrics, genetics, clinical nutrition, and functional medicine. So in this explainer, we're going to look closely at his insights into the actual architecture of our emotional energy. We'll explore how it completely dictates our mental wellness, and most importantly, how we can practically support ourselves and the people we love. To start things off, let's address a very real problem that pretty much all of us face at some point. Have you ever experienced that feeling of just total, complete exhaustion, even after resting for a solid 8 hours? You wake up, but you still feel totally drained. Well, according to Dr. Senon, this points to a very specific type of depletion. It's not your physical body that's tired. Actually, it's a depletion of the mind and your emotional reserves. It's this hidden fatigue that we almost always misdiagnose in ourselves. So, here is our roadmap for today. 1. 2 types of energy. 2. The 6-month danger zone. 3. When emotional energy depletes. 4. Taming the subconscious mind. And finally, 5. The path to inner peace. All right, section 1. 2 types of energy and understanding the difference between them. Dr. Seton divides human vitality into 2 distinct categories, which is pretty foundational to understanding our own mental health. He makes this really fascinating distinction. On one side, we have physical energy. When you do hard, grueling work, your physical energy is consumed. The fix for that is super simple, right? You rest, you sleep, your body recharges, and the physical fatigue goes away. But then, on the other side, we have emotional energy. Dr. Seton explains that this energy resides deep down within the subconscious mind. And here's the kicker. You simply cannot cure an emotional energy deficit with physical sleep. It demands continuous, active charging. How do you do that? Through active positive thinking, having healthy motives, and putting yourself in an environment that's full of love, loyalty, kindness, encouragement, and self-actualization. If you try to fix a lack of emotional energy with a quick nap, you are going to wake up just as exhausted. Moving right along to section 2, the 6-month danger zone, which is the clinical timeline of stress. So what happens if we just ignore this emotional drain? What if we just grit our teeth and try to push through it without recharging our subconscious? Well, the absolutely crucial timeline we need to watch here is 6 to 8 months. Dr. Seton notes that experiencing severe psychological pressure and intense nervous exhaustion for a continuous 6 to 8 months is a massive red flag. If your emotional energy is depleted for that long, it triggers actual chemical and non-chemical changes in the neurotransmitters inside your brain. You aren't just feeling stressed anymore. Your brain's chemistry is actively altering, completely paving the way for serious psychological deterioration. Which brings us to section 3, when emotional energy depletes, and the consequences of that exhaustion. Once we cross that critical 6 to 8 month threshold and our emotional energy is truly tapped out, some severe clinical manifestations start popping up. The first big one is a profound depression. When the subconscious is just utterly depleted, you literally lose the ability to find pleasure or joy in daily life. Dr. Seton describes it as an inability to even distinguish beauty from ugliness. You start feeling completely aimless, like you have no goals. Your thinking becomes incredibly confused. And ultimately, this heavy mental fog and loss of joy causes you to pull back from your work, stop hanging out with people, and just isolate yourself at home. Second, your overwhelmed mind actively tries to cope, and usually it does this in some pretty destructive ways. This massive tension and anxiety can lead to a desperate, compulsive need to escape, which Dr. Seton links directly to OCD, or obsessive-compulsive disorder. A person might start obsessively repeating actions like excessive cleaning, or maybe they develop rigid, unhealthy habits around their diet. They might even obsess over religious practices. On the flip side, this escapism can swing the other way, leading to a reliance on drugs, smoking, alcohol, explicit websites, or just playing endless hours of video games. It's basically your brain frantically searching for an escape hatch from that crushing internal tension. And this next part just brilliantly illustrates the mind-body connection. Emotional depletion doesn't just cause psychological fear, hallucinations, or delusions, though obviously those are severe. It literally physically hurts your body. Dr. Seton points out that this psychological breakdown frequently shows up as real physical pain. We're talking about conditions like fibromyalgia, which is chronic physical fatigue and pain. We're talking tension headaches and irritable bowel syndrome, or IBS. It also breeds hypochondria, which is that constant obsessive fear that you're developing a terrible disease. The emotional pain literally spills over until the physical body itself is crying out for help. Okay, section 4, taming the subconscious mind, looking at immediate steps for control. Knowing these severe risks, how do we fight back, right? How do we empower the rational mind to tame and comfort that exhausted subconscious before it completely spirals? Well, when panic, fear, or overwhelming anxiety strikes, you need an immediate toolkit. Dr. Seton gives us this super actionable 4-step sequence to physically short-circuit those moments. Number 1, practice deep breathing, but specifically through the nose. Number 2, sit down and just remain silent. Or, if you absolutely must speak, use a very soft, gentle voice. Number 3, take a bath. Make it cold or warm, whichever suits your body best, just to physically reset your nervous system. And number 4, get outside and walk in the fresh air. While you do this, actively try to curb any feelings of anger or the urge to lash out. This is all about taking immediate physical control to calm your subconscious down. I absolutely love this quote because it brings us to a deeply human layer of Dr. Seton's work. He notes that emotional energy requires constant charging through positive thinking and good motives in a healthy environment full of love, loyalty, kindness, encouragement, and self-actualization. It's just such a vital reminder. Love, loyalty, kindness, encouragement, these aren't just nice, fluffy concepts. They are actual medical necessities for our brains. Without them, our emotional energy drains right out and our physical health collapses. And that brings us to our final section, Section 5, the path to inner peace, focusing on holistic and spiritual healing. Beyond those immediate coping strategies we just talked about, we really need to look at the broader lifestyle and spiritual adjustments required for deep, permanent recovery. Dr. Seton strongly validates a holistic approach here. True healing takes effort on multiple fronts. You have to actively build a strong, positive motive for your life. Think about something genuinely positive you can do right now, or even long-term. Reflect on the beautiful gifts God has given you and how to protect them. Drawing closer to God through prayer, remembrance, and good deeds is highlighted as one of the most powerful ways to heal those hidden wounds, clear up that mental confusion, and get rid of illusions. On top of that, you have to practice making excuses for others, forgiving them, and actively avoiding what Dr. Seton refers to as the theaters of sadness and tension. And this healing absolutely extends into our social lives, because your social circle is literally your medicine. You have to aggressively protect your energy by avoiding toxic environments. Steer clear of fanatics, hypocrites, bullies, and pessimistic settings. Instead, actively surround yourself with a healing community. Go find sincere, kind people who naturally comfort others, the kind of people you just naturally feel at ease around. Engage with supportive family, good neighbors, and righteous, sincere companions from your community or mosque. Having this good company is a massive, massive aid in overcoming these hidden illnesses. By adopting a balanced natural state routine, which is really a mix of physical health, spiritual devotion, and community connection, you actively guide your entire being back to health. It's this combination of walking, playing sports, maintaining healthy eating and sleep habits, engaging in prayer and reflection, playing constructive games, loving and helping people, and being incredibly kind to your parents, family, and relatives. Practicing forgiveness and kindness, they aren't just moral victories. They are biological imperatives that return your soul, your subconscious, and your physical body back to the beautiful natural state of psychological peace they were originally created for. So knowing what we know now, that just sleeping for 8 hours is nowhere near enough to cure a depleted emotional state, I want to leave you with this one question to think about. How will you actively recharge your emotional energy today? Will you step outside for a walk in the fresh air? Will you call up a supportive friend? Or maybe you'll just practice a moment of deep gratitude. The choice to protect your inner peace is completely yours. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this framework gives you the exact tools you need to thrive.